foul committed by St. Louis. The final decision is direct free kick.
Welcome to Instant Replay for MLS Match Days 22 and 21. It's a double edition. I'm your host, as always, Andrew Wiebe, and we're taking a closer look at the most controversial refereeing decisions in Major League Soccer. We start in St. Louis with a pair of plays from Match Day 22. In the first half, St. Louis think they have a goal, only, hold on, a little confusion. Filip Dujic, the referee, is called to the monitor by Eunice Marcacci. Is it perhaps a deflection or an offside call ahead of the goal, or is it the foul just ahead of the attacking phase of play? It turns out it's the foul. Dujic says, nope, no goal, clear and obvious error, that's a foul, direct free kick. And I agree with that decision. For me, this is a foul on Edward Leuven. Watch how he dives in on this and catches Muyumba. The contact is not great, but it's enough for me to be a clear and obvious foul. And I know you're screaming about how Leuven gets a little bit of the ball, but for me, that ball is going underneath him. It's not intentional. He didn't win the ball. It's more circumstance than it is intent. And the 2 feet diving into the feet of Muyumba still makes that a foul for me. One more from this one, 69th minute. Stian Gregerson is going down in the box under pressure from St. Louis' Thoresen. Filip Dujic points to the spot. Penalty, he says. I got to tell you, I would like to see this be a no call. I don't see anything more than very marginal contact, if that, on Thoresen. Certainly, I do not see enough to have Gregerson go down in that manner. So for me, on the balance of things, I would like to see this be no penalty kick. But penalty was the call on the field, and it was not reviewed. Atlanta stepped up, had the penalty saved by Roman Berkey, but finished the rebound, and this game ended 1-1. To Orlando we go. Second minute, we've already got a little bit of spice. Facundo Torres wants a penalty. He doesn't get it from referee Natalie Simon, but boy, I got to tell you, this looks like a penalty to me. Jonathan Dean is nowhere near the ball, and watch him sort of sandwich the leg of Torres and then run through him. For me, there is more than enough contact for this to be a penalty. I would have liked to see it called. And if it's not called on the field, I think this is a clear and obvious error and should be reviewed. That's just one man's opinion. Then in the 51st minute, with Orlando up big, Rodrigo Schlegel is called for a handball. You see him sliding in here. The contact is slight on that right hand, but it's absolutely there. Natalie Simon calls penalty on the field. But for me, this is a complicated one. In my opinion, this is not deliberate by Schlegel. When you're sliding in this manner, I think it's natural that your arm is going to come down to brace yourself. Unless, while you're bracing, you move your arm toward the ball. I'm not sure I want to see this called a penalty. It's extremely difficult on the field, but yet again, this is one where I would have liked to see the VAR, Soren Stoica, recommend for review. In my opinion, this is a natural position. The handball law, it's always up for interpretation, and it's never easy. This one certainly wasn't. Well done to Kevin Terry Jr., the VAR in the Colorado-Montreal game. 87th minute, he spots this handball on George Campbell. And yeah, you see that arm extended? That, for me, is an unnatural position. Well done. And Austin wanted a handball on Will Trapp in the 23rd minute of their match against Minnesota United. No call on the field from Drew Fisher. Play continued, no review, and that's absolutely the right decision all the way across the board, in my opinion. When you are expecting to head a ball, your arms are going to come up by your sides. That's what happens with Will Trapp. For me, this is a natural position. Remember that Christian Benteke play from last week? Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. All right, back to match day 21. Sporting Kansas City RSL, 20th minute. Real Salt Lake were pretty frustrated that Brian Ojeda got called for this foul and penalty on Eric Tommy. And initially, I was absolutely with them. It looks like Ojeda gets the ball, and Tommy kicks into the RSL man. But if you watch closely, I don't think Ojeda is necessarily playing this ball. I think he's just trying to throw a foot in there. In fact, based on the trajectory of the ball, it looks to me like Eric Tommy is actually the one who gets a touch. Given that and the fact that Ojeda then goes through Tommy, I'm just fine with a penalty decision on this from Mark Allerton, the referee. Meanwhile, Philly fans were saying, hey, Yuya Kubo dove on this call in the 47th minute. And again, initially, that's what I thought as well. But watch closely. Look at Elliott's left leg come across Kubo and clip his right foot as he's stepping forward. Kubo goes down immediately. That's the contact that takes him down. And for me, this is a clear penalty. Well done to Jair Marufo and VAR Jorge Gonzalez on this one. And let's end with a couple of double yellow card situations for match day 22. Minnesota-Austin. Hassani Dotson getting sent off in, basically a minute. The first one here on Giassi Zardes, it's a late tackle, it's reckless, there's not a ton of contact, but that's a clear yellow card in my opinion. And the second, almost immediately afterwards on Giassi Zardes, is stopping a promising attack. Dotson loses the ball and watch him step in front of Zardes. That's an easy decision from Drew Fisher. And we finished with another play that looked like a double yellow card, but was actually a straight red for DC United's Christian Benteke. Look at the foul on the back post from Benteke on Griffin Dorsey. You see a yellow come out from referee Tim Ford. That yellow card is not for the foul itself, but from the descent that Christian Benteke directs toward Tim Ford. Benteke does not stop. As you can see, he's very demonstrative and very, very frustrated, and Tim Ford goes to the back pocket and pulls out the red card. You could be forgiven for thinking this is 2 yellows equals a red. It's actually a straight red for foul and abusive language. We have no way of knowing what was said, but clearly Tim Ford thought Benteke crossed the line. And now Christian Benteke will miss the match against the New York Red Bulls. No big man for the Atlantic Cup. And that's it for us. If you see something in match day 23, please let me know. And pretty please, give me the time code, the minutes, the seconds, the situation. It is so helpful. I'm watching every single game at one time. Big thanks to my producer and editor on this one, Phil Levanco. I'm Andrew Wiebe. We'll see you next time.